Welcome to Capacity TV. My name is Saf Malik, a reporter at Capacity Media. We are here live at ITW 2022, and I'm delighted to be joined by Ziad Samaha, VP for New Business at Khazna Data Centers. Ziad, thank you for joining us today. And the first question, Etisalat and G42 signed an agreement last year to establish the largest data center provider in the UAE operating under Khazna Data Centers. What does this mean for the company and the future of the data center industry in the Middle East?
So Khazna was determined to become the larger data center operator in the Middle East, in the entire region, not only the Middle East, so basically entire GCC. And the company had already some plans set, and we started the execution of these plans in order to grow our footprint in the UAE as well as outside the UAE. Now, that was before the announcement of the joint venture that will allow the addition of data centers that are coming from Etisalat. And they have sizable infrastructure that will allow Khazna to accelerate its growth plan. All the plan that was in place initially will be accelerated, and Khazna will have more capacity online sooner than expected. And by 2023, Khazna will reach a total capacity of more than 300 megawatt against around 200 that was initially planned. So it adds a lot of value to the company. On one hand, we'll be able to serve immediate requirements, immediate demand from the market that we would have had to postpone or slow somehow the response in order to have capacity online to be able to address those requirements. However, now we will have some more capacity available, and on the other hand, it will immediately put us on the footprint of the largest data centers worldwide and the larger in the region.
What particular plans do you have in countries outside of the UAE?
We do have plans to grow the company and set up infrastructure. And so we're going to set up, without specifying all the countries, we're going to build 7 data centers in 4 countries in the Middle East. And we are going to build a large infrastructure in Indonesia that was already announced. So we're aiming to reach 1,000 megawatt in Indonesia. They're going to be spread across multiple data centers, across multiple islands in Indonesia. And for the majority of those, we already started the execution by setting up the legal presence so that we can go and build data centers. We identified lands, everything is in place.
And of course, is it important for Khazna Data Centers to look at these countries that are not served or have been underserved in the past few years, and to provide the connectivity and the data centers that they need?
Absolutely, absolutely. Those emerging markets are of extreme importance for Khazna Data Center, and I believe for any other data center operator, because you don't want to set up new presence, let's be clear. You don't want to set up a new presence in a mature, ripe market. At the opposite, you would like to look at these markets where they are underserved and where digital transformation is still in its early stages, so that you can capture the market at the right moment.
And on the sustainability side of things, the UAE has ambitions for net neutrality by 2050. How is Khazna aiming to keep its business as sustainable as possible?
This is the biggest challenge that all data centers face, because there's a trade-off. The main value of a data center comes from its availability. And that availability comes at a cost that is the high usage of power and water, and which renders data center not so sustainable. However, we are lucky in general to be living in an era where sustainability seems to be very important for everyone, not only governments. And there are a lot of supports coming from vendors who are being very innovative in developing solutions, data center solutions that help data centers to become more and more sustainable. On the other hand, as Khazna, in our current setup, we do have some sustainability elements that I will elaborate on, and we're adding more and more sustainability criteria and elements into our expansions. Like a simple example, in our current existing data centers, we do utilize treated storage water. We do have some small solar panels to support auxiliary lighting. We replaced all lighting with LED lights so that we can consume less power. We have cooling towers that use pre-cooling and rely less on chillers whenever the ambient temperature is acceptable. And as we develop, it will be very difficult for us to change the infrastructure in the existing data centers. However, whenever any set of equipment will come to end of life, we look at replacing these equipment with more sustainable solutions wherever it's possible. And on the other hand, we are aiming and implementing a zero waste strategy across all facilities, existing and upcoming.
And finally, we already touched upon this slightly. What are Khazna's growth ambitions for the upcoming years, and what areas of the business are you going to be focusing on?
Well, we're totally focused on wholesale data centers for the time being, and we are working actively on our expansion plan. So we're going to have, right now with the JV with Etisalat, we immediately have own and operate 12 data centers in the UAE. We're going to reach 16 data centers across UAE, in addition to the 7 data centers in the region and the data centers that we're going to build in Indonesia. But our growth is not limited. There are other discussions happening at the same time that will allow Khazna to expand further in the east and the west, but these discussions are not yet as mature as those that I highlighted earlier. And during our expansions and our growth, we are also focusing on the sustainability that we talked about. So we talked about what we have in place, but we are moving away to become more and more sustainable. In addition to zero waste, we are building a solar plant, entire solar plant of 7 to 8 megawatt to support the IT load in our Masdar facility and the upcoming expansion Masdar facility. That will be certified as Sidama per 4, which is the highest rating of sustainability in the UAE, and that will be LEED Gold as well. So we are working towards implementing different aspects. So these are few of them. We changed the cooling infrastructure to a different cooling infrastructure that utilized less water. So we are moving, and we're going to keep evolving along with the technology.
Ziad, we thank so much for your time today, and we look forward to hearing more about Khazna data centers in the future.